You ever notice how the housing market keeps telling people to be patient while making the numbers worse anyway? Because that's where we're at right now. Mortgage rates are still sitting in the mid 6% range. Home prices, they're still elevated. Builders are throwing incentives at buyers, and somehow, after all of that, the typical American still looks at the monthly payment and says, I still can't do this. And that right there is the part nobody wants to say out loud. Because if rates stay high, buyers inevitably get squeezed. If builders cut deals, margins get squeezed. And if sellers pile into the market, listings rise. And if all of that happens all at the same time, then the old housing story, that prices, rates, and demand all move in some neat little rhythm, starts to look like a fairy tale adults tell themselves, because the real story is much, much uglier. And a lot of people right now are not confused because they're bad at math, although I personally am, but they're confused because the math itself feels broken. Now, you make too much to feel poor, but you make too little to feel secure. You look at homes online like you're browsing a luxury store you somehow got invited into by mistake. And every month you wait, the market changes just enough to keep hope alive, but not enough to actually make the payment make sense. And that's the emotional trap to all of this. And here's the forbidden part to all of this. This was not just a market cooling off naturally. This became a system where the headline number and the lived number split apart. Because people hear rates are lower than they were last year, or they hear something like inventory is improving. And they'll think to themselves like, hey, you know what? This should mean some type of relief. But relief is not the same thing as affordability. A hospital bill can come down and still ruin your month. A plane ticket can go on sale and still be too expensive for the trip you need to take. And that's what's happening in housing right now. Mortgage rates have recently hovered around 6.46%. The median existing home price hit around $398,000, $400,000 in February. And there were roughly 46% more sellers than buyers in February. Yet, that did not suddenly make the average household feel financially safe enough to jump in. And that's the weird contradiction to this whole story. The market has more listings. Builders are offering more help. And the buyer is still stuck. So what happened behind the scenes here? Well, the first thing is that the mortgage machine stopped behaving like a bridge and started behaving more like a toll booth. Because for years, lower rates could hide a lot of pain. High prices looked survivable because money was cheap. But when the cost of borrowing moved back into the 6% range, the monthly payments stopped whispering and started shouting. And housing is not bought in sticker price anyway. It's bought in monthly obligation. That's how it's considered. That's the real battlefield that everyone's facing right now. Now, the second thing that happened is builders adapted faster than the resale market. So they had, in March, 37% of builders were cutting prices. I mean, they had to some extent, because the average cut was 6% and 64% of offering sales incentives. That means a lot of builders already know what the broader market is still pretending not to know. And the buyer doesn't need a pep talk right now. The buyer needs a lower monthly number. And this is where the system gets kind of sneaky, because instead of dropping prices in a clean, obvious way, builders often use mortgage rate buy downs, closing costs help, and little sweeteners around the edges. Why? Why do they do this? Because a visible price cut changes the comp. A subsidized rate changes the feeling. One hurts the neighborhood, the other keeps the illusion alive. Now, NAR has been explicit that one of the most common builder tools in this environment is the mortgage rate buy down to reduce the payment in the first years. So the market starts looking like a casino that gives you free chips at the door while quietly changing the odds once you sit down. Now, you feel helped, you feel welcomed, you feel like maybe the system is finally easing up. But the deeper reality is this. It's that the underlying home is still expensive. The baseline loan is still heavy, and the affordability problem has not been solved. It's just been padded. And that matters because a padded payment is not the same thing as a durable payment. And that brings us to this next layer. The country now has hundreds of thousands of more sellers than buyers, roughly 630,000 more in February. And that's according to Redfin. Normally, people hear that and think, hey, great, buyers win. But not necessarily, because leverage only matters if you can actually use it. If the payment is still too high, then extra listings do not create any additional power. They just create a kind of a temptation. It's like standing in a grocery store during a sale when your debit card is already sweating. More options do not solve the cash problem. And this is why so many people feel like the market is talking out of both sides of its mouth. One side says, look, there's more supply. The other side of the mouth says, yes, but monthly cost is still punishing. And both are true. And once you understand that, you understand why this moment feels so strange, because this is not a normal affordability crisis where one thing is clearly out of place. It is a layered crisis. Rates remain elevated, prices have not reset enough, and builders are bribing the payment lower. Resale sellers are slower to adjust, and households are carrying the rest of life too, which is insurance and food and fuel and debt and everything else that now competes with housing for oxygen. Now, mortgage applications have stayed weak, and even when rates dipped earlier this year, demand did not suddenly come roaring back. And that tells you that this is bigger than one weekly rate print. Now, here's the core part of all this, because this is not really a story about whether homes are worth it or not. This is a story about a housing system that keeps trying to preserve asset values without restoring true entry affordability. And that is the model here. Keep prices from falling too hard, use incentives when necessary, and protect comps where possible. Stretch the payment, massage the optics, and hope the buyer confuses slightly less painful with finally affordable.